Hi friends, welcome to episode 1 of the CodeStudyNook. In this video, I'm going to go over expectations and also my study format, just how do I learn Java. This channel is different than Alex Lee, Bill Barnum, Amigos Code, or Bros Code because currently I'm just self-studying. I have been using the Java For Dummies 8th edition book. It looks like this, and I have the physical copy, and I just recently found the PDF copy, which is amazing because you can actually copy a lot of the text and paste it elsewhere. You can paste it in your notes. You can also paste it on ChatGPT. So yeah, I have just been self-studying. These guys are phenomenal, and I'm going to explain later on like how do I use them to study. But for my channel specifically, I am not proficient in Java. I just started learning on my own, and this is just a space where I'm going to post my notes as I go. If you are interested in learning Java and you like the way that I study, then I think this channel would be for you. This is for my friends who have shown interest in Java. This is for myself and anybody who would like to join me on the study sessions. Because I am not experienced, I'm not going to have all of the fancy terminology, and I am going to be making mistakes as I'm learning along. All that I ask is that you guys go on ahead and share your knowledge in the comment section. If you are studying as well, or if you have more experience in Java, go on ahead and share that knowledge in the videos if there's a mistake that I make, or if there's anything that you would like to add on. Like always, I do ask that you keep things respectful. In a world where mistakes are not allowed, this is a space where you can definitely make mistakes. Learning a new language, just like anything, is going to be very hard, and it's not a linear path. There's always going to be ups and downs. My focus is mainly on introducing the concepts and making them accessible to people by providing simple and clear real life examples, right? So the why behind the code. But let's go over my study process. There's different ways that people study. So if the way that I study is similar to the way that you do, I feel like this channel would definitely be for you. The first thing that I do is read the chapter. The more code that gets introduced into a chapter, the more time I'm going to take in that chapter. So for the most part, I spend most of my time unpacking code. So for instance here, perfect. So in here we have this line of code. I'll read all of this and I'll get to the code. If I understand what each part of the code does, then I'm going to move on to the practice part. However, if I don't understand what the code is saying, then I'm going to go ahead and unpack the code. So this is where I use ChatGPT. I'll go on ahead and paste the code. Sometimes ChatGPT will tell me that my code is wrong and there's a syntax error. Just try to paste it and make sure that like there's no mistakes. So if you look here, when I pasted the code, it gave me this @ symbol that should be at 0. So that might be a reason why ChatGPT might tell me that my code doesn't make sense. So just be mindful of that. I am used to asking ChatGPT to break down code for me, so it already did it without me asking it to. But what I'll basically just do is paste the code and say, break down each line for a beginner in Java. I'm going to stop the code. I send that. Okay, so I'll say break down each line for a beginner in Java, and then it'll literally break down the code for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if there's a code that we can get. Okay, so perfect. So this part right here, This is just a snippet of a code. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. See, it doesn't copy this bottom part, which is not good for me because every part of the code matters. Okay, so I will copy the code. These little parts are very important as well. Sometimes they won't copy. So I'm just going to paste. I can't use tab on ChatGPT, which is really annoying. So I'm just going to try to do it like that. Once I paste the code, it will break down each line for me. So this is the first line of the code, and it'll explain it right here. So this is the second thing that I use to study. After I understand the code and I have unpacked it, there's times where I'll even tell ChatGPT, like, I don't understand it, break it down further. I don't understand it, break it down. Careful, puppy. So I'll say I don't understand it, break it down further, and it'll break it down even further. And this is honestly what I do when the code gets hard. I just keep asking it for more and more explanation. I'll say use a real life example to explain how this works. So once I unpack the code, I go on ahead and practice. And the practice part is really important because there's going to be so much code that you're learning. This is going to really help you understand how the code interacts with the program. If you remove a semicolon, if you add a semicolon, what happens? Does the code run the same way? If you put a printout statement, let's say in a nested loop, let's say if you put it inside the loop, how does it affect the code versus putting it outside of that loop? So yeah, practicing is really important. It's going to create a lot of clarity for you. The last thing that I like to do is look at references, right? So after I'm done practicing, I understand everything, I tried some other scenarios, now I'm able to go ahead and look deeper. So this is when I go and I look at channels like Alex Lee. He's phenomenal. He has a whole Java course, but you can go ahead and type certain lessons like nested loops. Alex Lee has a video on nested loops, which I just finished learning about. And then you go ahead and you just look a little bit deeper into how nested loops are used. By looking at other references, I'm able to just learn a little bit more about how nested loops are used in real life examples, and I'm also able to learn more terminologies. I'm going to be learning the more complex ways in which coders use loops. Because I have that background knowledge, this just becomes a lot easier for me to now understand. And then last thing that I do, which I already said that was the last thing that I do, but the actual last thing that I do, the following day I make sure to review what I learned the day before. Every part of the code literally counts and it has an effect, and so you want to be able to just review and really understand and remember everything that you learned. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For the next video, we're going to have the first lesson, which is going to be an introduction to Java and the basic keywords that you guys are going to need to understand and remember. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on episode 2.